Hey guys, good evening. Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Bridgie. How you guys doing? Very happy to see you and to have you on board tonight. I hope you're doing well and your family, everybody's okay. Thank God for life and for good health. The year is going to an end slowly but surely, and we pray that God will keep us in good health, in abundance. He will meet us at the point of our needs, and this pandemic, we will survive it in Jesus' name. Thank you very much for joining me today. If you have not yet subscribed, please consider doing so. It is very important that you hit on that subscription button. It's the red button. That's the only way you support me. And of course, if you really want to support me, you are a good you are a true believer in this channel, you are a true fan of this Obodo TV, then you watch the ads as well, because it's only when you watch the ads that we get paid. And of course, the bell sign is there for you to get notification whenever I do my videos. Today we are talking adulting. We want to do adulting stuff as much as we like talking about, things that are trending on social media. We like to talk about relationship. It's also good occasionally to talk about things that are very important to our lives as Africans who live in the diaspora. And adulting is part of finance, is very important to us here. And what I want to talk about today is about credit. What is your credit score? Or is your credit score good? How is your credit? Oh, let me ask that question, because this question is very is a funny question. Because when we live in Africa, we don't even know what credit is all about, If you want to go and borrow money from a bank, you need to have collateral. You have a house or a land or somebody that will stand as guarantor for you, that if you don't pay back, that person is going to pay back. Nobody is going to just give you a loan or give you some money for any reason without having a guarantor. But what will come over here is surprising that, it's a different environment. It's a different, the system is different in a way that the banks will just, I remember when I first came to this country, I will just be getting letter. They'll be offering me credit cards. They will say I have 5,000, I have 3,000. This one will say I have 7,000. I'll be wondering, when I have not worked and saved money in their hand, how can they be offering me money? And then banks will be writing to say, you can come and take loan. You are eligible for this loan, for this social amount, for this. And be wondering, until I finally until I finally understood what they meant. That basically what they are saying is for you to come and check BC. BC, non-pay. Debt, BC. Oh. Look, guys, when you come to this part of the world, if you are not careful and you get, enticed by all these credit offers, it can really put you in a very deep hole. Like, it can set your credit into a very bad state that you'll be wondering, but it's you that offer me. You said the funny thing about this part of the world, they will offer you the thing. They will be offering you, like, they will be luring you with the credit. But when you take too many and you can't pay back, then it becomes wahala again. Is this same company that will say, come and take 50,000, come and take 20,000 pounds as a credit card or loan. If you cannot pay it back and you start defaulting, it's them that will still be chasing you, and they can chase. God, I don't pray for anyone to go through when banks start to chase you, or even credit companies, your creditors start to come after you. It can be very devastating. It causes a lot of mental health issues and stress. Some people cannot handle it. They either run away. I know people who've run away to Africa because of debt of their debtors that are chasing them, or their creditors that are chasing them. So it's something that we need to consider very seriously, because if you go and take too many things that you cannot pay back, then it becomes a problem. So I'm talking about credit today. What's your credit score? So we all know that once you live in diaspora, the way they rate you, why they don't need your uncle to come and sign, or for you to bring any guarantor for them, or for you to have any building or property that you bring the document to say, take, this is my house. If I cannot pay, then take the house. It's because they have somewhere they will catch you. It's called a credit score, a credit history. That's how they check. Every country has a way they check. Do you know that in the UK, I don't know if it happens in the US or other places as well, Do you know that in the UK it's so bad that even a mobile phone, for you to get a mobile phone contract, if you don't have good credit score or credit record, they will not give you mobile phone. They will not. They will bounce you. And the bad thing I don't like about that credit record is that even if it's not you, say your record is good, for instance, or but any member of your household, say your child or your spouse, or maybe people that, if those people are sharing apartments, if you are sharing a house, for instance, if somebody's record spoils, because it's the address they use. And that's why, you see, when you're filling forms, they start asking you, how long have you lived in these people? This is artificial intelligence. They know what they are doing. When they start asking you, how long have you lived in this address? Put your address history. If you've not lived in the particular address for 5 years, they'll ask you to put the previous addresses where you lived, you know, that will cover a period of 5 years. They start to ask you all those questions. It's because they want to check. They want to use it to dig. to find out your credit record. So it's the address. So when somebody who lives in the same household with you has a bad credit, automatically it will affect you. And it does take time for you to be able to wipe it off in an address. Except that credit is paid, they will put that name there, and anything that comes, except if a new person comes into that apartment or into that house, they cannot say, okay, I'm new here. Then they will not ask them for their previous address. So it's really, really bad. Credit check is something that is very, very important if you are planning to live in this Obodo for a long time. Because without good credit, there are so many things that you cannot do. So many things. I just gave you a very simple example. Mobile phone that we use, just mobile phone contract. That is like the most basic thing. But your credit does affect it. So other things come into place. You want to buy, if you want to buy a car, for instance, and you want to take a car loan or car notes, as you call it over there in the US, your credit is not good. You cannot. No company is going to offer you any credit, anything that you have to be paying back, because what it does is that you've already demonstrated, whether you or any member of your household who spoiled the address had already shown that you in that address cannot be trusted. Again, that's why the banks don't ask you for collateral when they want to give you loan. So if you come to this part of the world and you don't know that this is how it works, you will take loan, you will take you will take credit card. Some people, they will take 5 credit cards. And you know the funny thing, if they give you a lot of credit, the temptation will be there for you to be spending. Before you know, you will owe basic. You now find out that you have like 5 credit cards and you have like, you know, so much debt on them that you cannot meet up. And let me tell you guys something that, you know, some of you will know it. If you pay the minimum payment every month on your credit card or loan or whatever credit that you have, then you're not going to be able to pay off that debt quickly. You will pay more interest and it will take you longer to pay it off. So if you are not, either because you are ignorant or because you're just, you know, greedy, or somebody unfortunately uses your card and they incur a lot of debts on you, it's going to be a problem, because if you don't pay it off, then it will affect everything. Do you know what? In some jobs in this UK, they do credit check to see whether you have a good credit score. There are some jobs that if you are in debt, like your credit is really bad, that they will not give it to you. When you work in financial sector, for instance, they will not give you those kind of jobs. So I've talked a little bit about, you know, how people can get into those unfortunate situations and, you know, how to avoid them. The number one thing to avoid is that it's always good to have a credit card. At least I will say at least one credit card. It's always good to have at least one credit card, because if you don't have credit card again, then there is no way that they can know that they can trust you with borrowing. So it's good to always have one, but keep an eye on your balance. Keep an eye. Just keep an eye. Sending your statement. Be looking at your balance statement, making sure that, you know, you are making your payment and you use it. Because other things that you want to buy, for instance, you want to travel. Someone like me that loves travel, it's always good to buy your ticket with a credit card. So many things that you can use a credit card for, that if there's any problem, you know, you get a refund back, or your credit card company will pay you back. So it's always good to have at least one. Some people have 2. Some people have more, depending on your, you know, your ability to pay, or how good, you know, your credit is, or what your income is. So Try not to get into that mess. How do you get out of it if you're already, let's say you're watching this video and your credit score is poor, like you can't get anything anywhere you go, they'll tell you no, that it's been rejected because your address has been marked. Somebody has bought some things that they didn't pay, and they submitted your name to that. I think they have a system that they used to check, and all retailers and companies have access to it. They can check, even store card. Imagine store card though. Store card that is even you that will still be spending your money, you will buy and be paying the gbese. Some of them will not give you store card if your credit is bad. So how do you get out of it? I have a few points I'm just going to share with you. The first one here that I'm saying, you should register to vote. Who knew that your name being on the voters register can help your credit? So register to vote. If you've not registered to vote, make sure that you are registered to vote. It helps your credit. The second point I have here is check for errors or fraudulent activities. A lot of time here, I don't play with my statement though, and I try not to get electronic statement, because when you get electronic statement, it is sometimes difficult for you to see it. But if you have a paper one, you can hold it. You can hold it close to you like this. Put your glasses on, zoom in properly. I'll be checking every transaction. So anything that doesn't sit well, you say, what's that? You quickly, circle it with a pen, and the next minute you are calling your bank to say, I don't understand this transaction. And the banks, any disputed transaction, if you are sure that it's not you that did it, they'll refund the money back, because they are insured for things like that. They'll tell you they investigate, but eventually they will credit you back. Yeah. The third one is always pay credit back on time. Yeah. When you incur late fees on credit card or loans or any credits that you are owing, if you always pay late fees, it affects your credit. But when you are paying your credit back on time, they will give you a time that is the estimated day that you're supposed to pay it. If you pay it the last day, it will not get to them before the end of the day. So it's always good to pay 3 days to or 4 days to, if you can. The best thing to do is to set up a direct debit if you can, to just, if you're not somebody that is good with managing, payment, just set up a direct debit. Make sure so day of the month, this is going towards this credit card, this is going towards whatever it is that you need to pay back. It is very important that you pay back on time if you want to get out of that hole of having bad credit. The next one is get some credit if you don't have any. You see, I said that before. Of course, if you have bad credit, you cannot get credit again. But if your bad credit is as a result of them not seeing any sign of your lending history, like you've never borrowed anything, there are some people like that it's only the cash that they have. They only have debit card and they never ever take any credit. If you are like that, it will be difficult for you to get credit on anything eventually if you need it. So it's always good that's why I said before that it's always good to have credit, even if it's one credit card. If you are eligible, approach your bank and always make sure you check the interest, because sometimes it's different. You don't have to be a customer for you to have a credit card with a company. So check the interest. Always keep an eye on that interest to make sure that you are going for the one that has the least interest for you to register with them. If your credit is good, they will be begging you. They will be sending it every day. We'll put it in the bin. Yeah. The next one is end any negative financial association. This one is funny. They say any negative financial association. What does that mean? If you have some disputed things financially that you are, maybe you are fighting with a company and you say, oh, I'm not paying this, I didn't owe this. You have to find a way to resolve it, because they can submit your name again to the credit people, and your name will continue to be on the bad side of the credit history. So any negative financial association, for instance, somebody uses your card and you're not aware of it, then make sure you resolve it quickly. Don't say, oh, I'm not going to pay it because it's not me that used it, somebody stole it, or my card got lost, and you just leave it. You need to call the company or the bank instantly. Make sure you resolve it, or otherwise it will count negatively towards you. And then the sixth one is do not apply for too much credit. Never apply for too much new credit. I think I've talked about this before. Just because they offer it doesn't mean you should take it. Trust me, these people, they go trap you. They go hold your neck with they say that you cannot pay. Don't, because they're offering you, don't take it to me. They send a lot of letters. They will say, hey, they're offering you this, apply today, apply today. Even the other day, I didn't even know that PayPal, they offer credit. They were saying that I should apply for me. I said, no, I don't. I only have 2 credit cards, and I've had them for a long time, and that's all. All the other ones I had before, I ended the unhappy relationship, because the more you have, the more interest you are paying. You might think they are doing you favor, but they know what they are doing. You are making money. They are making money from you. That's why they are offering you so much credit. So you have to spend wisely. Be very, very intelligent in your financial affairs. Lastly, remove default CCGs or bankruptcies. Yeah, that's the last one. So that one is when you've already your credit is bad and creditors are dragging you here and there. The CCG is the organization that normally comes in when you say, oh, I can't pay, I don't have the money to pay, and they are dragging you. So they are the ones that will now come, they will look at your bank account, look at your earnings, and then they will come to an agreement with your creditors to say this is how much you will be paying them. That's what the organization is. Of course, if you are bankrupt or you have any other what's the last one, default payment, or all these things that are standing, you need to rectify them. For some people, it will take time more. The way I'm saying it now, it sounds like it's just something you do overnight. For some people, it's going to take them years for them to get their credit to a good place. But I'm telling you, it's always good to start now. Because imagine if you don't, you just ignore it. It's not going to go away. That's the funny thing about, being in debt in this part of the world. It will never go away except you resolve it. So it's best that you start to address those things. If they are sending you late payment, default payment, you know how they do? They'll send you with a black. Next thing, they'll start sending you with red. Don't throw it in the bin and say, to hell with them, I'm not paying. Make sure you address it, because at the end of the day, one day, you might need something very, very important. For instance, you want to buy a house. Just imagine that you have enough money. Maybe you have enough equity. And you say, okay, let me come and buy this house today. And then they'll say no, because of some outstanding things that you didn't do ages ago. So this economy, what you have to know about being financially intelligent in this in the West is that the economy is not cash based. It's not cash based. It's got to do with credit. So make sure you don't get into too much debt, but make sure you have access to credit. And if you've got some debt, address them so that you be in a good place. I'm telling you, debt is not a bad thing, to be honest. When people hear debt, they are scared. I owe this company. Everybody owes in this part of the world. Debt is not a bad thing as long as you are not in too much debt and you are able to, keep on top of it. They will be offering you things. If you take a loan from a bank, and you are paying it, after a few years, you see, they will write to you and say, if you want to increase it, because they know that you are trustworthy. So it's a credit economy. So you have to learn how to operate in this environment. You can't just be saying, oh, it's only cash. I'll work and save. Then I'll do something. I'll work and save. There are some things that you can't do with cash in this place. In Africa, yes, but here, some things are just not, you can't do them without having good credit. So I'm just going to leave it here today. If you like this video and you enjoyed my tips about adulting, about credits, give this video a thumbs up and leave me your comment. I'll talk to you in my next one. Thanks a lot for watching. I love you. Bye-bye.